The threat of the preservation of the Yezidis, missionary work and Christianization as a challenge to modernity. The Yezidis of Armenia and Georgia managed to preserve their faith, their unique culture, and will remain as a community during the Soviet years, and this is already a miracle. After all, they were cut off from their brothers in Iraq by the Iron Curtain for decades and simply could not even communicate with them, let alone maintain spiritual ties and make pilgrimages to their shrines. The Soviet atheistic state denied any religion, and Farfadin is no exception. But the Yezidis kept their faith in their families and communities precisely because it was based on oral tradition and on the transmission of knowledge from generation to generation. In addition, the Yezidi priesthood, otherwise also called castes of sheikhs and feasts, were closed from external influence. This was also facilitated by the fact that marriages between priestly castes, sheikhs and purs, and murids, were banned. This played a role in preserving the faith. But today the Yezidis are again faced with the urgent task of preserving their faith. A paradox. During the years of persecution and during the years of state atheism, the Yezidis managed to firmly maintain their faith, but the challenges of the new time with the development of the information society, the opening of borders, increased migration, including labor, the destruction of the traditional way of life lead to the fact that more and more Yezidis, especially among young people. Such a transition from Yezidism to Christianity automatically deprives a Yezid. Moreover, this concerns the transition of Yezidis not only to the traditional Christian denominations for the South Caucasus, the Georgian Orthodox Church, the Armenian Apostolic Church, but also Protestant Christian denominations whose centers are located in Western countries, primarily in the United States, Jehovah's Witnesses, Pentecostals, etc. Today, Yezidis have become the target of purposeful proselytism and missionary work. It is clear that the financial resources, organizational structure and opportunities for missionary propaganda among these denominations are not comparable with the capabilities of the counter-propaganda of the Yezidi community. As a result, in the Yezidi villages of the Republic of Armenia, a small part of the youth converted to Christianity, including Protestant and Jehovah's Witnesses. This means only one thing for the Yezidi people: a catastrophe for the people. This situation directly undermines the opportunity to create a full-fledged Yezidi family. The canons of Yezidism point to the creation of a family of two Yezidi believers. The spouse and spouse must be Yezidis. Until the end of the 20th century, there were practically no apostasy phenomena among the Yezidis living in Christian countries, or they were very rare. This is explained by the fact that the Church fundamentally objects to the forced conversion of adherents of another religion, believing that a person should realize the truth of Christianity and come to Christ himself. Although this principle is not always observed by the Church in secular persons supporting the Church, there are cases when apostasy is associated with the missionary activity of Christian preachers who use in their sermons methods of persuasion about the progressiveness of the Christian religion, promises to a person to improve his social status and other financial benefits. Another reason for apostasy is a personal fear of isolation or a sense of being an outcast in Christian society, as well as possible reproaches or ridicule from colleagues, friends or neighbors. To date, there is not a single fact of coercion or threats from Christians against the Yezidis. On the contrary, the apostasy comes from the Yezidis themselves. Having found themselves in tolerant and even comfortable conditions in Christian countries, the Yezidis began to feel the greatness of the culture of Christian society and the humanity of the Christian religion, and as they adapted to Christian society, they began to accept Christianity themselves. The main reason for the apostasy among the Yezidis was the desire for cultural adaptation to Christian society. Some Yezidis see Christianity as the highest expression of human culture, others consider apostasy as the easiest way to achieve social equality and career advancement, and others, as a result of assimilation and, as a result, indifference to Yezidism. From a human point of view, it is important that this does not happen by force, but comes from the desire of the Yezidis themselves. They themselves go to church and ask for baptism. There are cases when parents baptize their children, but they themselves remain Yezidis. Over the past 20 years, thousands of Yezidis from Armenia, Georgia, Russia and Europe have voluntarily converted to Christianity. Along with the spread of apostasy, another threat to the existence of the Yazidi religion is the growing intermarriage. Previously, the Yazidi clergy treated marriages with non-believers categorically. These marriages were also considered apostasy, and for this they were supposed to be excluded from religion. With a sharp increase in the number of these marriages, the priests retreated. These people remain Yezidis and the attitude of society towards them does not change. Another dogmatic issue, children from mixed marriages, they are not considered Yezidis by religion. It is possible that these children spiritually feel their involvement in Yezidism. Their desire can be understood, but still, according to the Yazidi canons, the path to religion is closed to them. Despite this, there are many cases when children from mixed marriages still call themselves Yezidis. On the other hand, if we proceed from the basics of the Yazidi religious law, you can't become a Yazidi, they need to be born. Then a Yazidi is considered a priori to be someone who was born from the father and mother of Yezidis, and no blessing or baptism is required to convert a person to Yezidism. For Yazidi born, religion is not a matter of choice, but the will of God. Thus, all of the above problems are very serious, and there are no simple solutions to it. But it is necessary to take measures now. And about what these measures should be, we are trying to figure out in the next materials.